Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys, this is another Marvel review. We're actually not doing a movie, we're doing a Marvel TV show, the first canon, quote-unquote, MCU show. Obviously, the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Punisher, Defenders, all that shite. That was not canon, now it is. So this technically isn't the first MCU canon show, but it's a weird thing. Just pretend it is. So we're obviously reviewing WandaVision Season 1. I doubt we're going to be getting a Season 2 now that we have Agatha Harkness or whatever show coming up. We also have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is kind of like a sequel to that. But today is WandaVision Season 1, the complete show, whatever you want to call it. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. Again, it's free. Takes a second, helps your boy out. Anyway, you guys kind of voted, and we're going to be doing the entire show, the entire season in one video. So it might be a bit longer of a video. I don't know how much longer it'll really be, but it'll be around the same length. So instead of doing one video per episode, I'm just doing one video for the whole thing. And, when WandaVision first came out, I was kind of excited for it. I was like, alright, I like Wanda as a character. I like Vision. I like Wu. I like, not Master Wu, the Henry Wu. I like Darcy Lewis. I like these characters. Maybe, I wasn't, like, super excited for it, after Endgame and Far From Home. I was like, alright, we could do a little more action, maybe. It was a bit wonky at first. It was kind of slow. It was kind of boring at first. I was like, all right, where's this going? Because, you had to do it one episode per week. Now that I was actually able to watch 2 or 3 episodes a day, it took me like 2 or 3 days to finish the whole friggin' thing. It's a lot more compact, and I urge you guys to do that with basically any show if you have time. Watch 2 episodes, 3 episodes a night, and then, you should feel a little bit, better. That's what I say about the sequel trilogy with Star Wars. People that really hate it, A, they don't get it, but B, a lot of the thing is, you had to wait 2 years per film. If you watch episodes 7, 8, 9, on a Monday, Tuesday, or, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, it makes more sense, for sure. But with this, same exact thing, right? So I was able to watch 2 or 3 episodes a night, and yeah, it does start out a little bit not action-packed. It is a slow burn start. This is a different Marvel project than what we've seen in the past, right? From really anything the MCU has done, or anything Marvel has done, period. It's not, there is action in it, and, there's fight scenes, and there's all that stuff, but it's more or less a character story about Wanda Maximoff and Vision and the world that she kind of creates, because obviously in, Infinity War, Thanos, or Wanda has to kill Vision, right? They're not, I don't think they're husband and wife, but, they're together, and she kills him, rips the Mind Stone out of his head or whatever, and then Thanos just, rewinds time and just freaking takes it out again. So basically, Wanda had to watch Vision die twice in front of her, which is effing not good. And then after that, obviously Thanos dies and whatnot, but Wanda is suffering from that, right? She's had to make all these, I guess, sacrifices, and she had to kill her boyfriend, husband, whatever, twice. If I had to kill a girlfriend twice, I'd be a little bit mad about it too. But at the same time, you do kind of run into the issue that, is she evil? Is she not evil? What's going to happen? And each episode kind of hits that. But something that they really effing nailed in this show is they create an overall vision, no pun intended, an overall story of Wanda and how she deals with her grief, how she deals with her trauma and her past, whatever, from her brother dying to her parents dying to Vision dying to all this stuff. She basically is the reason why they have the Sokovia Accords. After she murders Crossbones in Sokovia or wherever they're at, and I think Lagos or something. But it is cool to see that that arc for this character, and through each episode you find out more and more about what's going on in Westview, why things are happening, why specific episodes are framed like old episodes. Like the first episode is like a 1920s / 30s sitcom, right? And it's all black and white and all that, and the aspect ratio changes with the bars on your screen, and there's a laugh track, and they really nail the aesthetic and the feel to every single show that they're trying to poke fun at or involve with Wanda. And you get like 30s and 40s, you get 50s, you get 60s, you get 70s, you get 80s, and then by the end you're getting like the Office style thing where it's like, documentary, the Muppets style, where it's like right in their face and it's like they're being interviewed, that kind of thing. I don't like that kind of television. I haven't seen The Office, but just from seeing trailers and footage, I bet it's funny, but I just don't like that kind of style where they zoom in all the time for like jokes, like every 5 seconds. You know, maybe that's just me, but it works in the show. Okay, don't get me wrong, it works in the show. But every single episode has its own unique vision and flair, which is cool. You know what I mean? It has its own unique art style, and you know, the theme songs are different, and they even have like cool commercials with the same people. And through each episode, you kind of figure out what's happening piece by piece. You know, even Vision is kind of like, hey, something's going on here. Wanda's like, no, that's fine. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. You know, everything happens. You know, the beekeeper guy comes out of the sewers, and she's like, no. You know, it just progresses through time and all that. So you have this world that basically she creates to, you know, kind of separate herself from reality and create a new Vision, create two twins, Billy and Tommy, and, you know, basically almost, you know, kidnap people through the guise of you're happy and you're safe and all that, to, you know, the kind of fulfilling roles in this world. It's really effing well made, very well thought out, and you know, I definitely think this is an underrated show. I know people loved it, but you know, it was a bit confusing. Like when I'm watching episode 1 and 2 and even maybe a little bit of 3, I'm like, why are we in black and white? Why are we in the 20s to 30s? Why is it? It's fun and it's funny and I like it, but what's the friggin' point? So thankfully I was able to, you know, watch 2 or 3 a night, and it just clicked a lot easier and better, which is good. But you know, and then on the flip side you have, of course, Photon, I believe, Monica Rambeau, or I think Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel's friend. You know, Monica is a little girl in Captain Marvel. She's like maybe 8 or 9, something like that, maybe 10. You know, Lieutenant Danger or whatever. And she grows up, and she, you know, obviously got blipped when Thanos snapped his little fingies and destroyed half of life on every planet in existence. So 500 million people left, and poof, and then they come back. And Monica's mother has sadly passed away, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. The whole world is trying to figure out what's going on, and that's something that we see kind of in future Marvel things too with the blip. But in this one, it's cool because she's trying to figure out what's going on. You got the new company Sword with something Hayward, Alex Hayward, or Phil, Bill, I don't know, like some guy Hayward, and he's kind of the bad guy, right? And then Sword, they're trying to piece together what's going on in Westview, figure out, you know, why this is happening, and see if they can put a stop to it. Because really, you know, there's a big, like, you know, like square or rectangle in reality, and this big red, you know, glitchy barrier is kind of separating Wanda and these captive people essentially from the real world, and it, you know, creates a very good plot where they're trying to kind of bust in and break in and maybe even kill Wanda and figure out what's going on with this thing, and you know, trying to rescue these people. And then we meet Darcy Lewis and all that, and some of the people like Darcy, you know, they get sucked into the Westview glitch matrix thing. You know, you obviously get Agatha, who was Agnes, right? She's obviously got a new show coming out. I believe it's September or October. So I'll be watching that. Hopefully it's good, not woke or not bad, but so far we're doing better than we have been in the past. Nothing woke here though, you know, which is good. It's just a good show. And you get that, you know, aspect where Agnes is kind of, you know, she's always behind the scenes, or she always has food ready. She always has this ready. Quicksilver turns up from the, you know, the guy playing Quicksilver in the X-Men films, which those are now canon through the multiverse. No spoilers, but they are. We've seen that confirmed before. And that's really cool that, you know, we get the character that played Quicksilver in those films, not playing Quicksilver, obviously, you know, manipulated to be, you know, Wanda's brother, which who actuality died in Sokovia in Age of Ultron. But with that, it's really cool because you see, you know, Ralph, I think his name's Ralph Bohner or something like that, Bohner. It's just a funny joke at the end of the day. But I remember when he effing showed up at Wanda's front gate, we were like, holy shit, it's Quicksilver! Ah! You know, we were all freaking out online. The multiverse! Ah! You know, we were going crazy. Turns out it's just Ralph freaking Bohner, just some dude, you know what I mean? Same actor who played Quicksilver in the X-Men films, but it's not actually Quicksilver, you know, and we get that reveal. We get actually a lot of good reveals of why Wanda's doing it and all that as we progress in the episodes. But of course, Agnes turns out to be Agatha. We get that. I think maybe I'm just making this up, but I remember the Agatha All Along song that played in, I think the seventh or 8th episode, and I swear to God, maybe I'm wrong, tell me in the comments, I feel like they got an Emmy, or it won some kind of award. I don't really know why. It's catchy, but, you know, it's like Frozen, Let It Go. It's catchy, but it gets old really effing fast, especially when I was in high school, and everyone in high school was singing Let It Go, even the boys. I wasn't. I was singing Everything Is Awesome, because that was fucking awesome. And then you get Let It Go, and it's like, stop! Stop singing Let It Go, for God's sake! It was on the radio, so I feel like this song was also kind of like that as well. Maybe it didn't win an award, and I'm just a moron, I don't know. But again, tell me in the comments. It is a good song the first time I hear it, and the second time it was like, oh, nostalgia almost. It's been so long. But it's got that good quirky humor. I think, the girl, Catherine Hahn or Han or whatever, that plays Agnes/Agatha, she does great. She has, funny moments, and she's also pretty freaky and scary when she has to. We get a lot of background in her and how she's a witch and all that, in Salem or whatnot. There's a lot of good stuff. And then, as we move forward toward the latter half of the season, or, the show, we get Wanda, and, of course she has her kids, Billy, Tommy. And it's just got, like I said, some really good atmosphere, right? The theme songs, the editing. Each episode has, the different era of television back in the day that serves a purpose to her character arc and what she went through as, Wanda, what she went through. And it also has, really good, editing and music and stuff that fits the time period. But then toward the end, you do kind of leave that and you kind of get into the real world and, you get... what's-her-face, Monica trying to come back in and save her and all that. She gets the powers, which we'll see in the Marvels. And, it's good, but then you do kind of, like I said, you leave that, it kind of gets like slashed, you leave that reality bubble that Wanda makes with the different TV show things, and it does just turn into a standard MCU effing whatever. Which ain't a bad thing, but we do get that lore. We get the Agnes thing, we get the Wanda thing, how she has the Darkhold. The Darkhold is kind of like this evil Book of the Damned, right, as she calls it. Kind of think of like the Necronomicon Ex Mortis or whatever from Evil Dead. It's like that, except it's not etched in blood and covered in human skin. It's like that, but it's not. Maybe I think the Necronomicon might be worse than the Darkhold, but we'll have to see. But yeah, so basically the Darkhold book gets introduced, and she's like, hey. You're using chaos magic, and this level of magic, makes you, as perceived and foretold in this Darkhold book, you, Wanda, are the Scarlet Witch. And we get that awesome badass costume. We get the name drop, Scarlet Witch. We get some really cool stuff. And it does end with a battle scene with Vision fighting White Vision, which White Vision is actually the real Vision, that sword that company makes, and that Vision. In the WandaVision universe is actually dead, so when the universe dies, he dies. So look, there's a lot to cover. There's a lot of shit that I'm covering because it's 9 effing episodes, alright? But bear with me. If you've seen the show, you know what's going on. And they actually do make it not confusing, you know what I mean? They do a good job of kind of not really holding your hand like a baby or something, but it's not overly convoluted and confusing when you actually watch the show, So if you have Disney Plus or you can get it on Blu-ray, I still got to get this one on Blu-ray. Please do it. But again, it does end with the final battle, which it looks fine. It looks good. It's Vision versus Vision. Then you have Wanda versus Agatha. It looks fine. They're just kind of floating around. They're shooting red balls of energy and shit at each other. It looks fine. But coming from the beginning, where it's like, oh man, every episode is unique and they have different things, and there's such a difference to every single episode, and then you kind of end with that. I feel like there could have been a little bit more to it, but at the same time, it's not necessarily bad. I just would have expected something a little different than just flying around in the sky shooting beams at each other. But thankfully, the episode does end very well with a very touching ending. I didn't cry. I almost teared up, where Wanda kind of goes to this big plot chunk of land, where her and Vision were going to live together, and she kind of has this. That's essentially where she created her house. So it's got a very, very good story, very heartfelt, very emotional. Again, you're not only dealing with, what Wanda's dealing with, you feel that, I think if it's one thing the MCU could have done better, it's show Wanda and Vision's relationship a little more. I feel like, okay, yeah, they love each other, cool, but there's not a whole lot of screen time of them hanging out. There is that thing in Infinity War before he gets stabbed by whoever the fudge, but, I think that they could have maybe done a little bit more. I think, they were kind of banking on Black Widow and Hulk, and then that went sideways. Oh, okay, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Oh, no, wait, he's married. Who do we do? And we'll just do Wanda and Vision. I like it. I do feel things. It's not bad. But I think that they could have done a little bit more to make me feel potentially even more. But, again, the episode ends with, them saying goodbye to their children. They're hugging and they kiss and all that, and then they essentially watch as they get obliterated by, Wanda kind of casting her magic to end all of it. And Vision does die out. We don't know where White Vision went, unless we do, and I'm just dumb. Tell me in the comments. I know he flew off. He busted through the glass or whatever, and he just kind of flew away. I'm assuming he's still kicking, but I'll have to see. And then Wanda essentially, hey, I'm sorry. I effed up, and she releases everyone, and Monica's like, hey, You sacrificed a lot in your life. You had to do so much. So I get it, but you kind of also left up a bit, you know. But Wanda, you know, the important thing for people to understand, because Wanda has been kind of bastardized online and treated as the ultimate villain, like worse than Thanos. What Wanda did in this show is not evil. It may seem like she's evil, but she never did any of this, you know, capturing people and making them, giving them roles and, you know, manipulating reality and all that and just kind of being selfish. She never did that out of spite or out of evil intentions. She is still a hero. She did it because she had to deal with her grief and her loss and her sorrow, and that was how that happened. Like, you know, that straight up, objectively. She's not a bad guy. She did that because she's so full of grief. And then, of course, what we see in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which we'll get to that soon, obviously, you know, we do know in that film she is quote-unquote evil because she's been reading the Darkhold for X amount of years. I think it's 5 years maybe, or 3 years. And we know that, you know, the Darkhold does manipulate you. It turns you kind of effing cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And at that same time, you know, that's why. She's not just, oh, I'm evil and I'm sad and I'm mad, so I'm going to kill everyone. Like, she's grieving, but that was what this show was about. She's still grieving, maybe not as hard as to create like an alternate reality and stuff, but, you know, reading that Darkhold book did corrupt her heart, as most of the internet doesn't effing know, because they're stupid and they don't pay attention to effing films. I do. I'm not an idiot. I pay attention to what I watch, and I soak it in like a friggin' sponge, like this. And with that being said, you know, now I know what's going on, thankfully. And honestly, rewatching the show, man, it is freaking awesome. It's not my favorite thing ever, and maybe, you know, as far as CGI, it actually holds up for being a TV show. You know, I think Marvel does a pretty decent job of making their shows look good. You know, I'm currently almost halfway through Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it looks fine. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like, you know, CW level trash or whatnot. So I think it's really good looking. The writing is really good. In fact, it's one of probably the best written things in all of the MCU. It has a very cohesive story and narrative that makes complete sense when you watch it. And by the end, you feel like you went on this journey with Wanda and you grieved with her. And it's very, you know, I guess, alarming that she did all that in the first place, but you understand why she did it in a way. I do wish there was a bit more in terms of consequences. She's just kind of like, you know, and she just kind of poofs away to that cabin or whatever in the woods where she's Doctor Strange too. So I feel like they could have done a little bit more than, you know, with that. Maybe, like, I don't know, arrest her or something. But I get it. You know, she didn't do it out of evil intentions. As she does say she's sorry. She makes up for that. You know, so who knows? That's a writing thing that maybe they could have delved into a little bit more too in terms of consequences. But it's funny. I think they nail the aesthetic. Every single episode has this different vibe to it. You know, I think having Quicksilver come back, even though it's Ralph and it's not actually Quicksilver, that works. The reveal of Agatha all along, you know, that whole thing is really great. Sparky's introduced, which is, of course, Vision's dog in the comics. Of course, Agatha kills it in the show. We don't see it, but, you know, she tells us that she did. So that's bad. But again, I love the fact that we start in black and white. We go through the different time periods based on what Wanda watched as a child, and she's kind of using everything to cope with it and calm her down in a situation where she would basically go insane if not, you know, making Westview. And again, I like that B plot where Monica and Jimmy Woo, they're trying to get back in and see what's going on. It's a very good kind of mystery-esque story. And like I said, as far as negatives, maybe a writing thing with the consequences, maybe one or two CGI instances, but really a lot of it effing holds up. You know, and I genuinely love this series. It doesn't have the most action. It isn't the most entertaining. It's not, you know, I don't want to say it's boring, but there's a lot of talking, a lot of downtime, a lot of slow stuff. People that love the MCU for its action will still like the action, but again, it is a bit of a slow burn when you start out, and, you know, weekly you're trying to piece together what's going on. If you're able to watch 2 or 3 episodes a night like I did, it's a little more manageable. But, you know, it is genuinely interesting to see what's going on and Wanda slowly deteriorating and just kind of seeing all this stuff and culminating in the Scarlet Witch, the Darkhold, and the setting up for future installments. Really freaking cool. And again, I think they really nailed the writing and the atmosphere of each episode. Really great stuff. So I'm going to give WandaVision, I'll probably give the TV shows from like a 0 to a 10, as opposed to the movies where I give them F to A+. I'd probably give WandaVision like a 9. I don't know, a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. Like, it's genuinely incredible. You know, it's not the most action-packed or, you know, oh my god, whoa, cool, badass, you know, Marvel thing ever, which Falcon and the Winter Soldier kind of has in spades in terms of action. But this one has a very good story. It takes its time, it cares about its characters, and it makes these characters even better than, you know, if they haven't made it, for example. I think Wanda and Vision are really great characters in this. Even though Vision is kind of a construct of Wanda's reality, it's still really cool. Billy and Tommy are good child actors for the most part. You know, there's some cringy stuff on purpose because, again, you know, each episode kind of has its own unique feel to it based on the era of show that they're kind of spoofing, for example, and that works. Again, the action is a little bit weird in the end. It just kind of feels like, oh, we're in the air, we're shooting beams, but it makes sense, and you know, for the most part, it does. You know, having the Darkhold and having Agatha, I think having the witches and all that's a really cool thing. Having like an Evil Dead style like witch thing in Salem in that one episode was kind of cool, kind of showing where Agatha came from. And there is some genuine, not really horror, but unnerving things that happen in the show, which kind of lead into Doctor Strange 2, which we'll get to soon. But either way, man, I am very excited about rewatching, you know, Falcon and Winter Soldier and moving forward with the MCU. But WandaVision is a very good show. A lot better than what I remember. I kind of forgot half of it, and, you know, upon rewatching it and watching more than one episode a week, again, 2 or 3 a day, I really did feel like this was a very, you know, cohesive and, you know, tightly strung together narrative that I really didn't feel the first time I watched it due to having to wait a week and just go, what's going on? That was happening, you know what I mean? And finally, now after watching it, I'm like, oh, that's that. I see it now, you know what I mean? So, I do recommend, if you're going to rewatch WandaVision, try to watch as many as you can in one sitting. It does help, you know, piece everything together nicely. And great Easter eggs, great references. It's really great story, how everything connects to each other. And again, man, I really did enjoy it. So tell me down below in the comments what you think about WandaVision. Like I said, doesn't have the most action, but in terms of storytelling and what they're doing with these characters and the writing, it's like top tier Marvel, man. It's really friggin' cool. And again, I'm about 2 or 3 episodes in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier now. I think 2. So I can't wait to review that show. And then we're gonna move on to Loki. And then we have, I think, Black Widow or some, you know, back to the movies. But we're gonna be doing a little bit of TV show for a little bit here. So I'm not gonna have Falcon and Winter Soldier out quite the next day like I would a movie, because, you know, I need time to watch the show. But you know, I will be getting these out soon. I got more Advanced Warfare gameplay coming out. Don't worry, I didn't forget. You know, I have to get this Marvel things out because there's so much effing Marvel stuff now. But yeah, we're gonna be continuing on with that, and then I'm gonna be working on a Marvel tribute here soon. I'm gonna make a community post about that soon, so look forward for that, so you can hear more about that. But anyway, I'm excited for the future of this, you know, this review series. And again, please tell me down below what you thought about WandaVision. We'll have a little conversation in the comments. And again, make sure to like and subscribe if you're new. It really does help me out. Again, it's free. It takes a second, and Wanda won't kill you in your dreams. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.